I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder based on the experiences I've had in my life on like males' entitlement to my space, my body, my time, my attention. I can't. Yeah. So, and this is something that many women have gone through life having to deal with on a daily basis, that, you know, and if we speak out about it, we get accosted for it, and that's an uncomfortable feeling. So we try and deflect, shrink ourselves, and make us, you know, de-escalate the situation to prevent an unwanted negative interaction from men.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So 2 days ago, I was on a lunch break. I was in the city, and I wanted to have my sushi at a food court, and it was a busy food court. Like all the chairs, all the tables are taken, but there was a row of tables where, you know, there's all the seats, like it's all in a line.
Yes.
And I made a conscious decision, like, okay, I don't want to disturb other people's time and space. They're all on lunch breaks too. I'm going to take this free spot right in the middle here. There's no one on either side of me. There's no one in front of me. But there's like a gap in between each table. And so I could see everybody has taken like a gap part of the table so that everyone has their own like space.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And like, you know, when you have your lunch, you kind of want to just relax. Like sometimes you might eat and stare in front, like in the space in front of you. And there was, after I sat down and had finally had my meal, there was a man that came, and he walked up. There was plenty of spaces on that table where there was enough gaps. There was enough gaps that he could have sat down in the gap. He sat right in front of me. And I just thought, and I looked at him, and then I looked at the space on either side, and I thought,
I was like,
really, man? Like, you could have sat here, you could have sat there, but you're sitting right in front of me on my lunch break. I don't know you. Now this is strange and awkward for me.
Yeah.
And I can't feel fully comfortable in my own space, because now my space went from being this much to being half that size.
Right.
And then on top of that, I have to eat my food, and I can't just like sit and relax and eat.
Because you're so aware of this
person. Because there's this person in front of me, and I don't want to look at him and like have conversation. Like the whole time, instead of just being able to relax and be myself, I was conscious about how I'm eating. I was thinking, please don't make small talk with me. Please don't make small talk with me. You know, all those things that you think when you feel unsafe, you feel your space is invaded. Yeah. And this guy looks at me because he could see I was visibly uncomfortable. He was like, are you waiting for someone? Is this okay? And I thought, well, of course it's not okay, but you can't say that. Like,
right.
Well, you can say it's not okay.
It's just so uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable because you don't know, is he going to accost
react
you for that?
part.
Or is he going to react in a negative way to that? Or is he going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was silly of me. I'll sit on this side. Yeah, because a lot of men go through life not having to think about those things.
No.
But these are things that women have to go through and think about and be considerate of everybody else's space, everybody else's feelings. And we have to alter our behavior to accommodate for that. But are they accommodating for us?
No.
See, and I don't know that about that person, but a lot of the time, based on the personal experience I've had, it's been a negative reaction. So you de-escalate. Yeah, but as a result, I've done this to the, to the expense of my own comfort, which, it's unfortunate. It's disappointing.
It is uncomfortable. We literally just this week released an episode called Am I Being Too Much? And in it, one of our friends who was in the studio talks about how when she's in her workplace, she might have a good idea or something, or a better way to do things, and she'll be silenced, especially by the men. Like if there's feedback for the man, it's a big deal. He takes it negatively. You have to shrink yourself down. But if he's giving feedback to her, even if he's being overly negative, harsh, critical, it's okay. She's just supposed to smile.
Yeah,
say
supposed to
thank
take
you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, and I hate the idea that you have to base it off of your previous experience. Because, sure, that guy could be the exception in the experience that I think all three of us have probably had. But it's just not worth finding out. It's not worth...
Right. That's the key. It's not worth finding out. Yeah.
And it goes back to we were talking about this in that episode too. It's like, you know, there will be men in the comments that are going to say, well, it's not all men, but it's enough men out there
it's enough
to make it and make it enough of a point for women to all be collectively uncomfortable and have to adjust so that they can feel a little less uncomfortable, you know?
The fact that you are in a completely different part of the world right now and like
and
we
still experiencing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a collective shared experience, no matter where you are in the world. Yeah. Many women will get that. Yes.
Yeah. No, that isn't comfortable. Well, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us because that is a tricky one to navigate.
Thank you.
We don't love this for us. We don't love this for us, but you know, this is what me and Vanessa say all the time. It's like, of course, we don't love being uncomfortable, but that's the whole point of this podcast is that we're talking about all of our uncomfortable moments to make it to be a little bit more, not necessarily okay with it, but know that there's at least a community of people out there that probably have that shared experience or something similar so that you don't feel so alone in it, you know? So I'm so glad you shared that.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate your podcast. I'm a fan, so I'm really, really happy that you are having these discussions because they're important to have.
They really are.